Hello.
Hello everyone. Hello.
Hi.
Hi. Let's warm up the crowd a little bit, waiting for the audience to come in.
Oh, wow.
That was strong.
It's more loud. Is
Yeah, that came out pretty loud.
sorry?
That'll wake us all up.
Yeah, sure. So hi everyone. Happy to host in another the beta testing game night. And today we are thrilled to have World Eternal Online to join us, one of our a long-term partner, and also we have hosting many events together, right? With the team behind it, and also we feel like we know each other quite a lot. Yeah, with me today, it's Tax. It's our CARV Guardian. Who are going to be showcasing the game, and also with some of our World Eternal Online team members as well, and also Zone Exconia. Am I pronouncing your name correctly?
Yep.
Yeah, that's
And
perfect.
the V, right? You
Yep.
guys want to do some quick introduction who you are and what's your position in the World Eternal Online, please? Maybe starting from Zone, please.
So I'm Zana. I'm on the marketing team of WEO. Been there for about a year and a half.
And Skonia.
Hi, I'm Sconia. I'm a content creator and an Italian content creator, and I enjoy playing WEO with my community. So here we are.
Nice. What about V?
Yeah, and I'm Vincenzo, but V for everybody. It's easier to spell it out. I'm the founder of Code Loop, and I've been lucky to just team up with all the other guys in the that you see here, plus all development team to try to build this game now. It's been a couple of years, multiple versions, and we believe like this version in preview today is really a big step up from the previous one. And we're really excited to show it to you guys.
Yeah, absolutely. We are glad that we can hosting a game night together, and also like this kind of a showcasing the game, like because previously we did the AMA together, but because it's like text based and also audio based, so there's no like graphic that actually can showcase into to the gamers what the game look like, and also how the mechanism, how the gameplay gonna be look like. And now it's gonna be a great fun to showcase in the game. And it has changed a lot since we talked when we have hosting the AMA, the first AMA, right? Because I heard that you guys doing like bi-weekly updates of the game, and recently it has a very huge update as well. Talk about that update, and also how you guys managed to releasing the game, to improving the game so rapidly.
Right. So during the in March, in April we released a couple of different versions. Like when we changed the camera, we changed some of the graphics, and we definitely slow down a little on the bi-weekly releases, and we're being cagey a little bit more for this version. I mean, if you saw the what we call season 3 and you're able to play this one now, I hope that immediately shows the difference, right?
Yeah.
So for that, unfortunately, we needed to take a little longer than our usual 2 weeks cadence for releases. So this took around, I think, 6-8 weeks from that previous version.
Mm-hmm.
But we needed to introduce a lot of changes. For example, as you will play now, you will see you can direct your skills. It will play like similar to a MOBA style combat. You can direct the skills. You can select your targets strategically. You can move and disengage. You can also hold, if you see your guys are moving around, but if you hold your right mouse button, instead of clicking, it will just drag your character and just you can direct movement directionally, right? And this is also, we are looking forward to other control schemes as well. And that took some time. The graphics have been completely revamped. The lighting system and the definition is like way higher than what we had before. And a lot of things are also being revolved around reintroducing the forging system. We had removed it before. The players, like, of course, they want to craft their gear, so that took some time to bring it back. It's still not completely polished, but the version here gives a hint of what is coming. We changed also the hero levels from 150 to level 50, and we adjusted the ramp, so the difficulty is pretty nice. And then we really boosted the boss fights and loot fights, which hopefully you guys will see soon. But it's a little bit more story driven. The environment is varied. But yeah, it took like a couple of intense months to work on this, almost, a little bit more than that. But I think we are definitely in the right spot. Of course, we are just trying to get all the feedback that we can, and we'll keep improving. And that's also why in this preview, you're only seeing 6 heroes you're choosing from, because they represent kind of the base of the gameplay that we have, and we're using them as the baseline to balance all the other ones, which we'll release over time. So the team also, last time we spoke, we had some teams that joined at the end of last year, some people that are really, really experienced and skilled, and they're really making a difference. You will see in some of the UI and some of the in-game graphics, like the level itself. But it takes some time when you join a new team, like, to start to completely contribute to a product, right? You have to learn the technology, you have to learn how we do things. And so that is starting to show now, right? Like 3-4 months after they join, they had time to just contribute. The team is pretty solid. So we're really excited about the speed actually of the new releases, as well as we're going to push new things into the game. So that's how it is. Why don't we, what other questions you guys have? Otherwise, I see you guys are clicking furiously around, and probably you're just going to move around and start the tutorial sequence, right?
Sure. Yeah, and also I have to say congrats to your team. You guys been listed on the Epic Game Store already. Yeah, so I think that's a great step towards a massive audience, right? Like we used to be like restricted to the Web3 gamers. Now we are approaching to a broader audience. And I heard like Epic Games Store also kind of like this year is also their biggest year. Like they're announcing tons of like collaborations, and also they are embracing Web3, the blockchain games. And you guys been early adopters of that. So congratulations on that. I think that it will be a huge step for you guys and also for Epic Games to grow together, right? Yeah, that's a big step.
Absolutely. I think the distribution, first of all, the security that they provide, right, which has been important. Of course, we did all the possible measures. We were signing our exe files. We're just doing everything we could to guarantee our executables were as secure as possible. And we also partnered with Elixir before, and they help distribution and provide that secure launcher as well. But there is, of course, the toolset from Epic is also great. They have a lot of accounts registered, and they've done actually a really good job at providing a process for publishing Web3 games in general. And you see in the page, they already tell you that this is a potential Web3 game. It is early access. And you cannot even publish if you don't go through their questionnaires, right? So you have to go through a process of getting approved for age rating, and then you have to also formulate their FAQ correctly internally. You have to provide a lot of details, but it's really good, well done. And once you finish the process, which is somewhat lengthy, you're okay to go and then start distribution. So they're really, really doing well, and I hope that helps the community as a whole.
Yeah, I feel like last 2 years, the Web3 games kind of, there's so many kinds of Web3 games. Some of them are scams, and some of them are rug pull projects. But it's eventually, if we go massive, go to the mass audience, and through like the traditional, like I'm not gonna say traditional, but like big gaming distributors, we definitely need to regulate it or something, right? And it's definitely towards a great direction. Yeah. So I also want to maybe ask this question again. We have the AMA before, but for the new audience just joining the session, I still want to ask you, like, could you also introduce again, like your again, and also tell us what's the word Eternal Online represents, and what's the game like overall story gonna be like?
All right. So the story is probably a little bit more complicated to distribute now because we have been changing quite a little bit the setting and the way we introduce the game, but it is revolving in this world called Althea, which is in between different time-space rifts. That's why you see character with different configurations. They have like some fantasy weapons, some cannons and whatnot. So we are building the story slowly around it, but the core of the game is, as you can see, as this MOBA-like controls, and you can just move around the world. The attack and combat system is essentially based on those games that you have been using before. So we're trying to make it as simple as possible right now to combat, but it's at the very base is part of an hero collection system, and part is focused around guild behavior. So people group together to complete some specific targets and missions in the world, and most of them revolves around capturing some specific resources or killing some boss in the world. And when you do that, as you will see later in the interface, there are events and quests that revolve around these completions of tasks, which eventually lead to specific rewards, either for you as a player or as a guild or as a progress in the leaderboard. So that is in a nutshell, like the basic composition. Of course, there are other things and other maps that I don't know if we're going to get to see today, where some features are unlocked. In the previous version, we had some, all the world was PvP. Now what we're playing now is a PvE environment for this first map, and you will have to teleport in the other areas of the world for PvG and PvP. Then there is also, of course, your typical inventory management, where you're going to have to forge your gear. And eventually, if you will see in the hero page, you have also how you upgrade your hero and make it more unique through skills, talent trees, and ranks. And the goal is, apart from this, is that later on there's going to be some collections of items that you can only earn through the game, right? And this collection of items will be some only in-game, and they're not 100% like unique. Other ones will be unique 100%, meaning it's a limited amount that you can get, and some of them will be able to transfer to blockchain. So that is the gist of the collectible part of the game. And you have to work with a group of friends or a group of people in your guild to complete the higher level events. So we're just trying to really focus this. Oh, as you see right now, somebody has started attacking a boss. I don't know if you saw the notification in the world.
Yeah.
And that's what happens, right? Like, as people try to attack some target and objectives in the world, they have to cooperate to complete them and kill them, and that will allow them to progress and just score in the leaderboards. So that's the basic loop. We're going to develop more maps with more complex objectives and systems, but that is the base of the game.
Pretty neat. And also, I noticed that the map is massive, right? Like, there's so many maps. Like, as Tax was showing, even this map is like huge. Like, there's so many things that you can explore. Yeah, and so I see, like, it's actually based on the level, right? Like, each level will enable you to, like, when you reach certain level, you'll be able to navigate and also explore new dungeons, or what do you call it, like spaces?
Yeah, correct. So we are still balancing this, but as you see, yes, you can click on the mini map and you will see around what is there. And this is one of two maps. So as you progress, you will be able to access more already in this build. If you see at the beginning in the town, there is a big teleport flashing on the left side. And if you click on it later on, you will be able to be teleported to the Wastelands. And the Wastelands is another map where PvP is enabled. So it's suggested to go with a little bit higher level after you understand the game. Otherwise, other people will attack you. But yeah, the goal is that there's going to be some areas more PvE oriented and other where people can engage in PvP. And we will experiment with different sizes of maps where you can teleport just to see how people play together. But I'm already seeing on the map people fighting around. So that's pretty interesting. And yeah, so that's the size will be different sizes. This is probably on the largest end of the spectrum, and we will experiment with more focused, more strategic maps as well.
For sure. Yeah, I also want to ask, like, what's the stage of the World Eternal Online right now? Are you guys in? I think it's in early alpha testing right now, right?
Yeah, we're still in alpha testing. I think we're getting feedback from this version. I want to let also the other guys chip in. You know, Zon, Skonia, and other guys are from your side for these questions. But I think this is the first version of where we start to be a little bit more confident. If you see the UIs improving, the gameplay and controls are improving. So we are definitely having development. We will have to do a couple larger changes still, but it's starting to get to a place where I think it's enjoyable. But of course, it depends on the feedback from you guys, right? Like it's the players eventually that need to say, okay, this is good enough, enjoyable or not, right? So that's exactly why we're opening this preview and why we hope that like other people from the CARV community will come and play.
Yeah, for sure. Like piggyback on your what you said, we actually prepared 50 close alpha key, the product key, or you can call game key, so that you can join the game early and to actually test in the game. It's I think it's already on the right path, the World Eternal Online, and the fundamentals are there, the game mechanics are there. It definitely needs more like feedbacks from the audience, from the gamers. So if you are those gamers, if you want to test in this game early, play around to try by yourself, feel free to stick for another 10 minutes. We're gonna in the YouTube chat, we're gonna release the 50 close alpha key there. So yeah, and thank you for World Eternal Online team to provide us this opportunity, and yeah, for those gamers who wants to play the game early, to I think play with Tax, play with Zoe and Zone, Skonia and V. Feel free to use the product key and join the game.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, guys. Like as always, like this is great. Like the more feedback we get, the better we can shape the game. So
yeah, for sure. That's also the power of the Web3. Like we talk about the community quite a lot, right? And now, especially for the game development side, like previously, as we all know, the game development sometimes it's a blind, like it's like a blind date, right? Like you prepare so many stuff, and when you release the game, you don't know who the guy will joining, who are they, who like what kind of aspect they like about the game. But now this process, this creative process, can be involved by so many gamers at early stage. So that's a brilliant thing. Yeah, and also I see that the game itself is kind of combining MOBA and also the MMORPG, like we're quite familiar with. So could you talk about that? Like what's the thought process that you guys went into the game development to combine these two things? And also you mentioned about the guild, right? Like the social part, the collective forces, right? Like those things. What's the thought process behind it, and also what do you envision the future, the World Eternal Online gaming experience going to be look like?
Yeah, so we played. I like to play like games like I think we discussed this in the previous AMA, right?
Yeah.
A lot of people in the team as well. We played World of Warcraft, Warcraft 3. A lot of those games shaped us. Eventually became Dota and whatnot, right? So
yeah,
I like to play those games as as much as everybody else. I like the format of controlling the players with this camera, even change the camera eventually. But and the simplicity of playing a few skills, understanding your gear. But I wanted something like more accessible. We can join quickly, and even it's not. If you are in the wrong team, you know, in League of Legends, like you're locked for a while, it can become problematic. Instead, it's something like which is light. You jump in, you complete your quest, you can group on the spot with other people, and still retain some of that growth behavior. Like, you know, I can grow my character, I can decide my skills, I can decide my gear, and customize it for the talents. That part, while being a little bit more lightweight, right? Like there are some games that get too extreme in the complexity, and so they are not easy to pick up. And I thought, you know, it's already hard to combine concepts around, okay, now there's Web3, there's other elements in there, and just make it overcomplicated. If you want to allow more people to jump in, you can present some familiar gameplay mechanics in a nice graphic and colorful environment, right? We could have gone green, we could have gone very dark, but I think this is a little bit more accessible. I think the art directors and everybody else are doing a good job there. And introduce lightly to the combat system, which is honestly is fine and it's entertaining. But if it is too competitive since from the beginning, it will be hard. And then there is part of the world exploration, right? Can we create multiple maps that are pleasant to see and have some interesting monsters and combats in them? And so I thought this was the perfect introduction also to some more economy of collection, right? Which is part integral of the MMO gameplay in general. So combining all these elements together, I thought it was okay. This is probably the right prime candidate for all these things to be combined together, right? Exposing to more users, introducing some collection elements which have uniques that are valuable, and some progression which doesn't feel too tiring.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think it's also a good time that we can like introduce in the game mechanism and also like some character, right? Like currently, as you mentioned, we already released like 6 heroes, right? So does that mean like it's an open world MMORPG, and we see you have like teammates here. It's definitely have a PvP element as well. So which means there will be like other players will join in these servers, join this map. You guys gonna fight each other, right? And the hero gonna be the same. Is that what it is? Like, and also, what's the PvP gonna look like?
So in this first map, this one is PvP protected. So this map is because you're learning. If you teleport to the second map, which is accessible from the own town, there is content for higher level 40 plus, and that entire area is PvP instead. So unless somebody's in your guild and they are your allies, you can fight. And so they will attack you. And some people are already, interestingly, starting wars between guilds in the other map, right? Because there is higher level bosses and content and resources that are more rare in that area of the world. So your guild is your defense because everybody in your guild is a friend. They cannot attack you. And you also share some of the rewards, especially in the leaderboards. Once you will finish tutorial, you will see that the events will unlock for you. And on those events, there is the leaderboards for killing bosses as a guild, or in the future, we'll have some more objectives. But that is already happening in this build. So this first map is a long introduction to the game and, you know, the tutorial, the mechanics, the gear system. And then you can go into the PvP area.
Yeah, brilliant. So it has the PvP, PvE like elements to it, and also like PvP. I think eventually, the most fun will be in the PvP, right? PvP part, right?
Right. So it of course depends on the players, right? Some players are more PvE, some players more PvP, so we have to be careful. But I definitely,
yeah, and it's definitely have more strategy behind it, because you fight with your guild, and they're your teammate, and you have to position yourself a little bit, like care about your positioning and also your skill release, and also your opponent's release, like a skill release. And that's going to be like a lot of interaction, and it's going to be much more fun.
Mhm.
Currently, it's only Tax is doing solo, right?
Yeah, he's soloing for the tutorial. There are other people around that can help, but I can see he's like doing that solo right now. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. Yeah. We have an audience just tuning in. Hi everyone. We are actually showcasing the World Eternal Online right now. We're gonna have the product key release soon. So in the chat, about like 4 minutes later, we're gonna have 50 product key for you to test in the game, join the game early. So it's gonna be fun. Yeah.
I see text teleported next to the boss. Now, don't attack the boss because it's going to wipe you in one hit. But you can probably, yes, be careful also the towers. But you can see.
What if you die in this game? Like, do you have a revamp, or you just die? You need to create a new account.
No, it will show you a revive button, and you revive on the on town. So the only penalty is your gear gets damaged. So when you're dying right now, your gear gets damaged. In some specific maps, it may block, like, you will have to revive your hero, but this is not the case right now. So as we get more complicated with the PvP and maps and like custom gameplay, which is what we're working on right now, I'm super excited to show that. Like that's going to be the last great element. But yeah, right now you just die, you revive, and you get some gear damage.
Okay. So like, I'm just curious about like in the end, in the end game, like each guild is fighting with each other. What do you gain from those group fights? Are you gaining from your opponent's equipment, or anything that you can gain from that?
So it's driven by two things. Number one is the events and leaderboards, if you're scoring against that, and the other one will be later in some capture points. But let's assume that you get some points that you are going to redeem for guild chest or some guild power. So right now in the store there is a guild chest which can only be unlocked by gear behavior, and that gives you like literally some points for that. You have to be in a guild in order to open the chest, and that's where the guild rewards are. And then there is going to be all the ranking and leaderboard for additional events. We just believe in the future we're going to start to do some more guild related tournaments, and that's what you guys should be participating on together with the collection elements. So there are going to be two main things. One is collecting uniques and items that can potentially be traded or part of a specific collection, or participating in the larger tournaments. And some of them we want to be doing pretty soon.
Yeah, that's
going to be just trying to make sure that the game for now is balanced. That's why we are just allowing only the first 6 heroes. There were more heroes in the previous version, if you remember. But we removed and disabled some of them so that we are rebalancing and making sure that everything is correct. So they are ready. We have a lot of heroes actually ready, but these 6 ones are the first ones that are going to help us to align and balance all the other ones.
Nice. I see there's a chat saying from King Snooch. He says you gain the honor of battling beside the heroes to defeat the enemy. Yeah. For sure, I think that's something drives the gamers for sure. Like when you have the PvP mode, it really doesn't really matter about the reward. It's about the mentally reward. Like your team fight beats the other team.
Yeah, the guild feature honestly is something we need to expand on even more. There is some functionality in there, and we limited the guild to 30. at people for now for some technical reason. We're probably looking at expanding that to 50 in the future. But of course, like right now, it's to keep it balanced. Otherwise, one guild will ruin them all.
You talk about the balance quite a lot. So I also want to ask you about this, like, because I used to, my friends play the World of Warcraft quite a lot, so I learned a little bit from those experiences. So in the World of Warcraft, like when you reach certain level, it doesn't really matter. Like the level part is stuck, right? Like everyone has reached that level. So it's all about the equipment and also your skill and also your ability to use those skill correctly. What's the balance part of the World Eternal Online? What do you guys think about the balance stuff? Like, is it really? So when you is that like a reaching certain level? Everyone is like at the same racing start, right? Like at the same stage, but you're gonna fight with your intelligence, your skill, your reaction. Is that what's the balance situation? Is it? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think you actually nailed it pretty well because that's the conversation we're having internally. So level in general, yeah, because this is a max level 50. So as soon as you get to level 50, and it's all about configuring your rank, your skills, and your gear, right?
Mhm.
And that's it's all about the strategies and how you create the best build or the best configuration of talents. If you when later you will look at your heroes, you will see there is a talent tree where you can spend a set amount of points to customize your build. So it will be all the strategy in creating but once you get there, everybody's almost on the same starting point, given that they have the same gear. So from this perspective, this is the interesting thing that we are designing around. So the game is completely unlockable from everybody. So you can play for a long time. You can collect everything. There is nothing specific that 100% needs to be paid. Of course, it takes a little bit more time, and there is nothing that gives 100% advantage or nothing like that. So that's pretty fair from this perspective. Of course, it requires more time. You have to participate with a good guild. You guys really need to win, and with skill, you can overcome a lot of stuff. So that's the basis. But you are completely right. Where recently, the level almost is a very long tutorial that gets you to the place where you can participate in our higher level events, to the point which it's arguable that is it sometimes even needed, right? Apart from some tutorials. So I think we're discussing this internally where depending on the maps, if we manage to do a little bit more PvP events, if that's even necessary, and we should start from like level 1 where you enter the instance, right? And that has been tested in the past where everybody was starting at the same level inside a PvP instance.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's a big part of the MMORPG game, right? Like the balance part, the player interaction part. That's something makes the fun fun and also fundamentally different from the each game, right? So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I think you guys are currently on the right path, and you are also having this conversation. It's certainly worth it, and I think from the player side, it's definitely have more things to think about. And when you actually play the game, I hope that all the players, all the audience out here, when you actually play the game, pay attention to that, like the thought process went behind the developer side. I think that's really interesting.
Yes, and I hope honestly, look, the more help, the more feedback, the more people play, the more participation, the better. Because I think one big argument that has been around for now, when I see some people, that are really, I mean, I don't want to say it's. Let's put it this way: some people I don't like to separate groups, okay? But there are some people that say, Web3, Web 2.5, Web 2 games, there's a lot of difference in there. And I think they've been right in some position in the guys, the traditional, they've been classified as Web 2 because they say, okay, well, I mean, your games are not on the right quality, so why should I play them, right?
Yeah.
But the first time that we are going to see, and that's what we're trying really to do here, and that's where all the help we can get is great, is make something which is us good quality. And they're going to say, okay, well, this is actually good, fun. I like to play it regardless, right? And that's for us, like that will be, that's the win. And then there's going to be no more argument, right? Like if the game is valuable, it doesn't prevent you. We're not requiring any, there is no blocker. You don't need to have any, it's not gated, right? Anybody can download. For now, it's in preview. So you just need an Epic key and that's it. But you don't need anything else. You're not locked. So everybody eventually will be able to come, join in, experience the game, play it. And we want to retain them because the game is fun and they want to play it, right? And then everything else will come from there.
Yeah, for sure. We have to, I think, for sure. This conversation has been like frequently talked about quite often, right? Like it's about the game, the fundamental of the game, right? Like we can't lose our sight on what makes a great game. And then we can discuss about what is the Web3, what's the elements that gamers can enable gamers to do something else, right? It's about the game quality at the core, at its core, and then expand to other elements, right? Like, of course, we can talk about the gamer economy and also, like a crafting system that World Eternal Online has been building up. But we have to say, like the players' interaction, like PvP mode, PvE mode, that's the fundamental of the game. Yeah, we almost reaching the break here. Now we are ready to distribute some World Eternal Online Alpha product key. Guys, if you guys are ready, we're gonna release in the chat, YouTube chat now, and 50 product key will be released to you, and you can use that to enter the game to try the early version, the early alpha version of the World Eternal Online. Play with the text, play with the World Eternal Online team, and you're gonna be fun, a lot of fun. I think the game quality, even at this early stage, is still like quite good compared to the majority of the Web3 games. And and also you can also went through you're gonna go through the whole development process because they're gonna release the game twice bi-weekly, right? 50 keys are released in the YouTube chat now. You can click the link, join the worldeternalonline.com/carv, and you'll be able to obtain your product key and to actually play the game.
Thank you guys for hosting us. And again, for all the players that come and try, please engage with us. Please give us feedback. Talk to Zon, talk to me, talk to Skonia, talk to everybody in the team you guys see. It's going to be, that's the best help you guys can provide right now. That's very valuable for us. So thank you again for hosting as always. This is great.
Yeah, we'd love to. You don't know how pleased I am to actually watch and also talk with a real, like a well-developed game. I mean, as CARV, we kind of selecting the game quite like restrictively, and we hope to collab with the high-quality game. And for sure, like World Eternal Online team, what you guys are building right now is quite at the high standard, and I can see that you guys also devoted into the game development, like the speed that you guys are developing right now, and also you listen to the feedback from the community. That's something will make a great game eventually.
Yeah, and I wanted to thank you too, because even CARV, it's a great project, and in general, those outlets are very important for developers too, because we can build a game, but you guys can help us to promote it and at least like make the people know about the game. So it is also very important, your role in the space, and we can't wait to see you with 1 million subscribers in the future. Talking about Web3 gaming. 1 million, I'm sure, like 5 to 10 years.
5 to 10 years. Thank you.
we are talking on those dates.
For sure. Hopefully. Yeah.
I think 5 to 10 months, no 5 to 10 years, dude. That's what we should aim for at the very least.
I mean,
Oh.
yeah. We hope that we can reach like 1 million with a high quality fan base. We don't care about the time. As long
Sure.
as we're reaching that audience, that would be great. And also, we love to collaborating with a high quality game and to promote them, to help them grow and find out like the problems or obstacle they're finding. I mean, like so many game developers, so many game studios, they have the talents to developing a great game, but there's definitely some more than that, right? Like apart from developing a great game, about the social, about the marketing, about the doing some business, and that's what we actually want to build up with, and also the gamer side as well. Yeah, so we hope that attracting help the gamers to selecting good game and help them experience the game fully. So yeah, happy to collab with you guys. Yeah, we kind of like say something good about each other. Thank you. We haven't planned that, but it's go like organically. Yeah, I also want to ask something. Like you mentioned on your white paper and also many of your AMA as well, but I still want to touch on that. It's about the crafting system and the equipments that you're gonna craft, and also like the in-game marketplace. That's something you guys have been talk about a little bit, right? What's your thoughts now? Like, does it have changed a little bit from we had the previous AMA? And also, do you have guys have any new take on that?
Yeah, I mean, I think releasing, like we started releasing the game September last year, right? It was very small, and we wanted to test some thesis, right? Because there is nothing else. Like you start with some ideas, and then you develop them. You see what people care about, and how this even impacts the game long term to see if some of the theories that we had work. So in general, crafting gear is, I mean, again, is back in this build. We had removed it before in the previous season, and we put it back now. So you will, once you finish the tutorial, at some point we'll send people to the hometown where you can craft. And you can see like they're accumulating some materials already by completing daily quests and progressing. So the gear system itself, we thought that it's more complex to balance completely, because the game evolves, new materials will come in, new bosses will come in. So you want to have the crafting, but you have to be careful if you're just making every piece of gear unique, because otherwise you're blocking other players from accessing that. So the parts that actually we are finding more interesting, and there is a lot of conversation around it, that can be unique, are a little bit more on the side of things that you cannot craft and you can only win with big quests, or that are on the side of cosmetics or help your guild. So we're just thinking right now that maybe the crafting side doesn't have to be 100% something which you should represent on blockchain or whatnot. There is not every part of the game fits that. You risk alienating other players if you don't have access to some of the content. So I think we are starting to see that as more rewards and tournaments as being the more important part for that aspect of the game, more than the crafting itself. People should still cooperate to get to the resources and get the tools that allow them to build up the perfect guild or the perfect build. That's fine. The talents, your skills, some heroes are going to be unique, some skins are going to be unique. But I think now, after seeing like many months of gameplay from the players in different settings and different implementations of the heroes, of the gear system, or the resources system, I think we're getting now to the moment where we have enough information. We think, okay, that's probably a more sound implementation of unique and collectibles. So revolving a little bit more, not just around cosmetics. Of course, there are some special items that will come, but they should not be crafted as before. So the player economy will still be there where people need to share, but I think that's more valuable thing to do when there is, skins or pets or these other things that people may care about, but it doesn't destroy the balance. Otherwise, people will just like, okay, well, I can't participate here, and I will not play. And eventually, the less people play, the less community there is, the less valuable everything is in the economy of the game as a whole. And so that realization came after playtest and playtest and playtest. So we're probably going to keep moving in this direction where it's more around unique stuff. I like the pets. I like the skins. I like some unique artifacts that you can use for yourself, for your guild. But then allowing more people to participate in the crafting system as a whole, I think that's a win for the game in general.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I think we can talk about the heroes right now because I think some of our audience already activated their code and they're ready to join the game. We can give like a quick intro about each character, what they represent, and so what's their skill, and what's the position that they actually is, right? Shall we?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So if you see thank you for opening the hero page and streaming that. First of all, if you see at the top, there is a selector where it says all classes, right?
Yeah.
So before we had a 3-class system, which was tanks, and then there was a DPS, and then there was a support, but that was not capturing properly all the different game features that we had. So now there are like 6 classes that really help representing them. For every hero, you see that they have this logo on the right, which is the faction they belong to, like in this case, a King's Arm. And the faction is more for the story and some specific background features that will come later, but that one will be unlocked in the future. And then there is a ranged holy healer. So ranged, of course, is what you expect. You can attack at a distance, and it's a healer with holy power. So we have 3 main characteristics. One is of course, your stats, which you see in your profile, which represents all your base attack. And if you see in the previous one, like we also introduced the magic armor and armor as a base. Then you have the talent tree. And that's where you customize with skills. If you have skill points, you can fine tune the hero's behavior. And then there is if you go back to the profile for a second, that there is your gear. You didn't craft anything yet, but at the bottom right, there is all the gear that you can equip. Of course, you didn't craft anything yet because you're still in the tutorial. You have to be sent to the forge. But there are 5 pieces, and 1 piece is locked by your ranking. So as you rank up your hero will unlock a couple more slots. Specifically, those ones, like this one, we are trying to represent different categories with these first 6 ones. This one is a healer with range and some attack. The next one, Kadrin, is like, physical damage, like really like a sniper, and he has some range attack. Rumi is what you expect from a frost mage. It can do blizzards, it freezes people in place. It's really good for control. And then you have like the assassin type, which goes straight to the point. He can dash and through enemies and just kill them real quickly when it's in close combat. And then you have this one is a massive damage at a distance, but a little slower. Attack rate on the base attack, on the auto attack. So that's where the difference is. Your skill are really great. You can control the players. And then this one is focused on range attack when they surround you. Like you can swipe them around and then you have a targeted attack. You can pull people together
AOE.
Towards you. And then you have your typical ranged area attack as an ultimate. So we're trying to capture. If you play all of them, eventually you will have different aspects of the game, of how the strategy is. And we removed some others which were more hybrid right now. We're just balancing them. There was like fully healer with a little less DPS. There was Zara we had before, and then there was like Imani, which was instead of poison priest, which can heal but also do poison damage. We are just in the process of balancing them. So these first 6 ones are really giving us the baseline for all the other skill balancing against bosses and against other players in PvP. PvP is the most complicated, honestly, and that's why there are less now. PvP is the most complicated to balance all the time.
Nice. I also see on the hero pages that you can actually purchasing different hero. Is that and what's the mechanism behind it? Like if you have a hero that's reach like a 50 level 50, and the different hero won't keep their level, right? Like it's just like each different character, right?
Yeah, for now it's like this. We are, you said it well before. We are considering like how impactful is the level to prevent you from playing the other heroes. And so in the next iteration, we'll see how we can alleviate that. But right now, if you have enough gems accumulated, you can unlock them. Or if you see there is the second buy button there with the heroes tokens, you can earn them in game. So as you play, you will unlock some of those hero tokens, and you can even use them to unlock them. Right now, you have 75, but if you see at the beginning, there is a daily login, and it will be pretty generous there, so you can unlock more heroes. So on top of these 6, you will see the rest of the list will be populated in next builds, and we'll add more. But those ones are the ones available right now that you can unlock.
Nice. And also, like when you enter the game, you can select one hero, right? Or is it like everyone joining the game have the same hero, but they have to work their way to purchasing to own the other hero?
So the first hero, yes, the first hero you'll lock right away, and that's the first one you use for tutorial. As you get gems or tokens in the game, you earn them while playing. You can unlock more heroes or use them in the shop like the gems. But the hero tokens are fine. You will complete events, you will get them, and you should be able to unlock more and more of the heroes. Eventually, all of them, like in these versions, are unlockable just by playing. So if you have the patience, so you go through the events with your guilds, you will be able to unlock all of them. So that's fine.
Nice. Yeah, I think we're almost reaching the end of the beta testing now, but I still have like 2 questions to ask about. First of all, is that I think many of our players were also curious about like when they join the game this early, will they keep their account, and also like they might crafting different equipments. What are those gonna be? How you guys gonna deal with that? And also, what's any like benefit that they will get for joining the game early?
So when we did already a reset. We opened the game for 2 days, I think during the weekend for our the Game Pass holders. So they got a preview there, and then we reset. So their progress was lost. So some progress will be wiped. Everything, like we do some rewards at the end of the testing that are permanent, and then go to your website inventory. So whatever is in the website inventory is permanent, and when the game opens, will be recredited to you. In this specific preview, we did not send the website inventory items to the game, so that everybody can start from the same, clean slate. But at the end of the season, usually we did like some gems and some other items that become permanent, and they stay in your inventory in the website. So of course, like there's some time involved there for helping us testing, so we do that. But of course, also the pleasure of seeing the game shaping up. That's something that I wanted always when I was like a little bit younger at the time. It's just I want to be involved in the game at the beginning, so I can learn it and understand the best strategies and start to form friends and people that think alike. So there is that. But some of the in-game progress and these things will have to be reset frequently. However, we are gonna make sure that there is some gems or some there is another currency called Valor that they can stay permanently. Okay, so somebody just you got to the crafting system.
Yeah.
So sure. But I expect some wipes and some resets. That's for sure. So right now you're learning, you're just like practicing, and you will get something from the season end rewards, like some gems for free, all those other things for free. But some of the progress this year or all other stuff will be removed.
Sure. Understandable, because like that's how early testing version gonna be look like, right? And also but still, for the gamers out there, I think be patient and be open-minded, because the whole process is gonna be a great ride for you guys to actually experience the whole game development side. And also you're gonna met some great friends. I think that's the beauty of the playing MMORPG, right? Like, when you're forming the team, when you're forming the guild, there's some bonds that's even in real life it's hard to get, right? Like you trust your teammates, you fight with some. When you fight with them so many times, you feel like you have this special bond, like even deeper comparing to the real life relationship sometimes.
Yeah.
So
and
definitely.
honestly, you have the chance here to talk to us, help shape some of the features of the game. If you guys have lots of questions, we did successfully in the past. I mean, there must be people around there that are even interested in the future. Maybe working in the game industry. If you guys have questions about how we build things or how it's technically built, we probably gonna hold a couple of those as well, like a couple of AMAs with discussions around how things are built, because it's interesting for players to see. Some people are interested in the process as well, and what is involved in creating maps or so we are open to this. This is also the other part I think is great. It shouldn't be only about us building the game, but even explaining and giving back information about game development. And in the future, who knows, we may have a little bit more UCG stuff in there as well, and so how to create content. And ultimately, Skonya is here as well, just if there are content creators or people that really want to also get help there. Skonya is like great at this, and it will help people like understand how to stream, how to talk about the content. Skonya, do you want to add anything there?
I think one great point and one different that shift my mentality is that I was a player before and I didn't know what a good game needs to be developed. So maybe gamers don't really understand this, but if you see behind the scenes all the process that goes into building something really good, is very, very long, but at the end, it's worth it. And for content creators, I think I see everything with the future lens. And even if I don't like to make predictions about the future, I think that Web3 gaming will be very big, and also Web3 gaming in general will be just considered gaming, because at the end the game must be fun and engaging, and then there are maybe Web3 concepts inside them. But also content creation is the future. All those platforms like YouTube, Instagram, TikTok are, I think, the future of this generation. And I think that if you have a passion and you like playing video games, you can be a streamer. You can be very easily today with a very cheap equipment. You can start streaming, and if you have passion, you can literally make a job out of it. So it is a great opportunity of this generation. And also, I think at WEO, one thing that we are working on is nurturing those communities of content creators, because we want to help them to grow in their platforms, so that we can grow we can grow through with them. So it's a growing space, and I think this is the perspective that we should approach with.
Yeah, 100%. I think when Zone mentioned about it, I feel like that's something opened my mind a little bit, because I remember when I was in university, one of my friends, he's really want to dig into the game developer side, but when he was in the bachelor degree, he's looking for some courses to actually help him to become a game developer, and he found out, even like we used to study in University of Manchester. I think it's a great university, but there's no courses. There's no like a specific major for you to become a game developer, right? Like eventually he has to do through his own way, right? He has to learn by himself, doing all the stuff by himself and finding the resources he wants. There's no courses, no any lecture they can provide for that. So it's a great opportunity. Imagine now if my friends, if we are in the college right now, if there's some friends of mine wants to study, wants to learn the story, the whole process of a game development, I definitely recommend them to play the game, to ask you guys, to learn from you guys. And of course, you also mentioned that you want to share those stuff. I feel like that's great. And for anyone who wants to be part of the game developer, as a career, or you just want to be joining a high quality game to learn the behind the scenes and to get know more about the process, that would be a really great experience. Yeah. So yeah, as that being said, I think some of our audience are also mentioned that they want to be part of it, and to actually learn, to actually get into the gaming industry. Yeah, brilliant. Lovely. Yeah, it's something that I wasn't expect that we can talk about it, but it's definitely for the college students, for people who wants to find a career in the gaming industry. It's a great opportunity to enter the game early, to know the process, to ask the developer what they are doing and what they have been learned, and what's the great resource they have, and that will like help you a lot to speed up your whole process quite a lot. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's all the question that I want to ask, but I still want to give this stage for you guys. Anything that you want to shout out? Any campaign, any upcoming events, or any community members that you want to mention? Feel free to do it now.
I mean, definitely, we have on Discord like a group of our core people that are there playing all day, and we're super thankful to those. Like, all their feedback, they're crazy good at finding problems in the game. Like, when we release it, it's so humbling. We think we tested everything, and then they immediately just come and find it out. Like, there is like great stuff. There's Nooch, there's like Kobe, there is like, I can go for 55 Foxes. There is a lot of people in the community we really have to be thankful about. Like, I could go for the list forever. Everybody that got their funder pack as well, and they're representing the community is great. From us, like, as I said, we have two things. We have an ambassador program now, which is super great. We send information out. We organized a cosplay tournament as well, where we are funding the costumes of some cosplayers so they can participate and help us promoting the game. That got really good feedback. And we have the streamer program with Konya as well, which is selecting some streamers to help. And the focus right now is 100% on the preview here, like testing this with the players, making sure that the Epic Game Store is working correctly. So that's where we get most of the help. And then we will come with a few more announcements in the next weeks. But thank you for giving us the couple of minutes to do the shout out and talk about it.
Yeah, for sure. And also, don't forget to follow World Eternal Online on Twitter. It's called World Eternal MMO, and also, yeah, to join their community for sure, to learn more about what they are at right now. And yeah, I think that's about it. For everyone who wants to get more product key, feel free to join CARV community, and we're gonna release the information there as well. Join us on Discord or follow us on Twitter. We'll be announcing the product key to you, and to if you want to join the game early to participate in the game, feel free to do that. And thank you again for Zone, for Skonia, and for V to join the conversation. It was refreshing for me to actually talk with some high quality game, and also I mean, I learned a lot from your guys as well, and hope the whole audience out there all enjoy the conversation we had, and also the gameplay we had. So
Thank you
yeah,
again, guys.
Yeah, thank you guys for joining in. Stay tuned. We're gonna have a more live streaming tomorrow. We're gonna have a panel talk and also some community live streaming of World Eternal Online. So stay tuned. We have a lot of stuff happening, and follow us on Twitter. We're announcing the new events there. So thank you everyone, and have a great day.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you,
Bye-bye.
you guys, and then also thank you, Tax, for hosting the whole game. Like showcase.
It's true, thanks. Thank you. We're
Thank
almost
you.
Big
forgot it.
thanks
It's
for
been
that.
like crazy.
You haven't said anything yet, but the whole interface, the whole gameplay is hosted by him. So thank you.
Thanks for
Tax.
having me, guys. Thanks for coming and watching.
Yeah, love you to talk with you, and also hope that you're gonna do more streaming for us, please. You
Definitely.
did great. Yeah. So thank you, everyone. That's about it. Bye.
See you. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.